All right. Edward, why don't you introduce the two of you, if you don't mind?
This is Amy Clark. I'm Dr. Edward Chauvin. She is a miracle patient. And you came in here when you were about 8 years old. Do you remember that first day?
Yeah, I do.
And you came in here with your aunt, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you weren't coming in here to be a patient. You were just with your aunt for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Amy had a disorder where she would cough up mucus. You had a cup with you and it was full of mucus. You remember that? You couldn't breathe. And the whole left side of her face was distorted. She had no eyebrow over her left eye. She had hair that wasn't growing on the side of her head. And I just felt like God wanted me to treat you. So I asked your aunt if I could treat you because you were coughing the whole time. And what happened after that first treatment?
I really got more energy, and my hair started to grow back and whatnot, and started to look normal.
Her eyebrow grew back.
Yeah.
And then later on, I asked her mother to bring her in to be a patient. And your mother came with a genetic study that they had done at LSU. And that genetic study said that you had mosaic trisomy 21, which was a genetic disorder, and I had to read up on it because I didn't really know what it was. But the whole left side of your body was undeveloped, and they were saying on the paper that your life expectancy was age 9 when you were 8 then. And I didn't believe that, and neither did you? And God brought us a victory, didn't He?
Yeah, he did.
And how old are you now?
I'm 16.
16 years old, and a beautiful lady at that. Do you remember when George was here last time?
Yeah.
And you were running down the hall? You were just a little kid then, huh?
Yeah.
She's like all grown up. She's driving and everything now. So thank God some people are wrong sometimes. Because you've been a blessing to us. And we love you very much.
Edward, what did, you're the one who saw her, obviously, when she was sick, and then when she turned around. What was it like for you seeing that happen? Because as I was telling her, this doesn't happen. When you're looking at genetic disorders, the preconception is that they're unchangeable, and that these people can't thrive and they can't turn their situation around. So could you talk about that a little bit?
When she came in and I looked up the disorder that she had, I was thinking to myself, I've never treated a genetic disorder, and I was new in quantum neurology, and I saw the miracles that were happening, and I said, we might as well try and see what can happen, because it didn't give her much hope other than that. And I thank God that we did it, because you can see how beautiful she is. And we started working on her, and the coughing stopped, and she started breathing, she started sleeping, and she started growing. Her arm was strong again, her leg was strong again, she could run, her eyebrows grew back, her hair grew back. And I was like, wow, do you mean that quantum neurology and chiropractic together can actually reverse a genetic disorder? And then I started reading about epigenetics and how, you can live at the top of your genetic potential or the bottom of your genetic potential. And not to say anything bad about medicine, because I believe in medicine. I'm alive because of medicine. Partly that and partly quantum neurology. But, we are much losing the battle against some of these disorders that we're seeing in the population, because the medical profession thinks everything is a drug, and everything is not a drug. Or they think everything is a surgery, and everything is not a surgery. And it's knowing when to apply those things that gets people where they go. And, chiropractors on the same thing. They think everything's a chiropractic problem, and it's not necessarily so. But we need to learn how to put those things together to help beautiful people like this. And I just thank God that I'm part of it. Because, in chiropractic school, they would have never told us we could treat a genetic disorder. They would have never told us that we could treat cranial nerve disorders, they would have never told us that hair would grow back. You know, it's just such a blessing.
Now, just for clarity, we're not treating those disorders. We're strengthening the nervous system, and then those disorders are handled by the nervous system themselves.
Right.
Now, what, Dr. Chauvin, somebody who's dealing with any condition, whether it's a genetic disorder or a neurological problem, you know, anything where they've given up hope, and you've had such tremendous success with all these different types of cases, what do you attribute the ability for them to heal? Like, what do you put that on for them?
Well, I believe that their body was designed by God to heal itself if it were given the right information and the right fuel into the system. By that I mean, sometimes the nervous system doesn't communicate with an arm or a leg. It doesn't communicate with an eyebrow, in her case, or a lung problem. And no, we're not treating lung problems, and we're not treating genetic disorders. We're treating the nervous system to get that nervous system to an optimum level instead of a mediocre level, and just allowing the drug realm to take over. So we get that patient back up to their genetic potential, and the result is they get healthier. That's how I look at it.
I love it. Now, you know, we were mentioning off camera a little earlier that, you know, she's a swimmer and that you were a swimming champion.
There's not a coincidence with that. It really isn't. You know, I don't know if I told you this, but I was a state champion swimmer. And it was by accident, but it wasn't by accident. Because my brother was a real good swimmer, my older brother. And we went to a meet, and one of the kids on the relay team was sick, and he couldn't swim in the meet. And they were going to have to scratch out of the race, and my brother said, you know, my little brother's pretty good swimming, you know, why don't you just put him in there, he can swim for this other guy. And so I said, what stroke do you want me to swim? They said, backstroke. I said, cool. I never swam the backstroke before, but got in the water, we came out second in that relay, and they said, you need to come off the swim team. So that's how I started swimming. And then, you know, after you got well and you started swimming, you were like tearing everybody up. I was like, man, that's cool. That's really cool. God knows what he's doing. He does. He put two common things in our lives: quantum neurology and swimming. But I'm sure there's much more than that.
That's great. And swimming, of course, is a great exercise for nervous system development. And it's something that you could do your whole life, which is not common with other sports. And, you know, you don't see people playing football there, you know, up until their older years and things like that. So it's really exciting that you chose a sport that really is supporting your development and helping you get past any issues. Are there any things that you still notice other than, you know, you could show me your arm again? So there's that little difference there in the arm. But is there any other things that you notice that trouble you because of you know, your condition or what you were diagnosed with when you were younger?
Not really.
You don't feel any limitation any
Oh,
longer?
No.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
And aren't you, your mother was telling me, your grades in school are real high, aren't they?
A and B.
Cool.
I love it.
So what are you planning on doing after you graduate from high school?
Plan on being a medical examiner.
Cool. Very good. That's great stuff.
We love it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, cool.
What a miracle.
What a miracle.
God is like so great. God is so great. He can use me, and he does.
You know, I remember Amy was one of those first, you know, miracle patients that we all had in quantum neurology.
Mhm.
You know, one of these that was, oh my gosh.
It was a oh my gosh moment.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
It's like the power of what we were working with, you know.
It truly elevated our understanding of what's possible at the time, because, like Dr. Chauvin said, you know, well, let's see if we could help her. We have no idea. We had no experience with anything like this before. Like Dr. Chauvin said, he had to look it up. You know, I had to look it up when he called me, because I wasn't familiar with this this condition. And I just think it's amazing to have an elevated expectation as a healing physician, an elevated expectation of what's possible in healing. Because, you know, if we're trained that your body heals a certain way and that's all we expect our whole career, we're never going to surpass that. But it's special people like yourself that's allowed us to see, you know, what's possible. And now, you know, we don't shy away from people who have any condition, whether it's genetic disorders or neurological disorders or anything, because we know because of you that, hey, as long as we turn on the nervous system, the body can start healing. Ain't that right, Ed?
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, your aneurysm happened after Amy,
Yes.
and gets me. That's a big deal, because
I was just looking at my pictures of my children up there, and I was thinking how blessed I really am,
yeah,
because she's one of my children too.
I love it.
She is. I mean, no, not out of my natural body. I'm not saying genetically, but I think our job is to raise these children up, whether they're yours or somebody else's, and to teach them a better way. And you know, after my aneurysm, and I got to finish raising my daughter, that means the world to me. That's more important than money or anything. That's more important than me. You're more important than me. When God just blesses us with things that only He can do, and He uses us to do them. And I think that's where quantum neurology is right now. I mean, I had to look up several of these disorders that I've been a part of helping, like with Sue Lynn, with MSA. I remember I studied that back in chiropractic school, but it's not something that we use, so I had to go back and look it up and read about it.
I never met a patient with that until I met Sue Lynn. It's not like something that comes in all the time.
And Sue Lynn even tells me, you know, and she gives me more research on what we're doing than what I know. But I thank God for using me in the process. She said, do you realize, out of her own mouth, that I'm the only living patient in the world that had MSA and now can say that I don't have it? I'm like, wow.
Wow. Incredible.
You mean God could use me to do this? Yes, He can. So, you know, I don't take the credit for it at all.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it as I'm kind of like a conduit that God works through, which is how I feel quantum neurology is doing. All the real great doctors like Woody and yourself all kind of feel that, yes, we've been given this gift and we're using it to help heal the world. We help use to heal disorders that we don't even remember, we have to look up. So I'm just glad to be part of it, George.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. This is the fun stuff. This is the fun stuff. And you know, Amy, it's I've been coming out here for years, as you know, and seeing the trajectory of your healing as well as all of other Dr. Chauvin's patients. You know, I don't know how many of them that you know, but he's helped many people get out of their wheelchairs and helped people with, you know, many, many disorders. And so what do you think about that? What do you see the possibility for this concept in quantum neurology? You know, you growing up and having experience yourself, but what could you envision for quantum neurology in the future?
I just keep envisioning Dr. Chauvin and you guys helping anybody, not just like you guys said how you weren't sure if you could help me or whatnot. But Dr. Chauvin was like, let's try anyway. I feel that you guys are going to keep making new discoveries and whatnot.
I love it.
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Is there anything you want to tell Dr. Chauvin?
Thanks.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
I love it. Well, I know you got to get back, Ed, so
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get back to seeing some people get better.
that's right. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Amy. Thanks for making the drive out to see us. So.